Welcome to a nourishing midweek lunch hour conversation with Spokane's newsmakers, thought leaders, and popular entertainers. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Welcome to Spokane Talks Live. Kent Adams. Hope you're having a good day today. It's May 8th. Can you believe that we're 8 days into May? Anyway, hey, we have a really good program, an important program in so many ways. First, host of She Says and Christopher's mom, Stephanie Regalado, is here to talk about what her son did after the prom on Saturday night. Nothing big, just saved a young lady's life, okay? And we're going to talk about that because we have friends and family who have gone through suicide and so forth, and your son stepped up and became a man that day. He really did. We're going to talk about that because there's some great lessons there. Clyde, Hasse, host of House to Home, is going to be here. It is, believe it or not, going to be summer soon. Well, that's what the weather people say, and you can believe them about half the time. Then we have Christine Brischle. I'm probably messed up the name, from the YMCA, and she's going to talk about a youth leadership conference that's coming up here in Spokane. Connor's calling the weather next on Spokane Talks Live.
Hello Spokane, this is Connor from Spokane Talks Online with your 5-day weather forecast. Today looks to be mostly sunny skies with a high of 78, while tonight we'll be seeing a low pressure system moving in from the south, bringing the chance of rain for tomorrow. Oh, and the low is going to be 58. Tomorrow we'll see about a 70% chance of rain showers with a high of 68, and then clearing out with a low of 45. Thursday looks to be mostly cloudy skies with a high of 61 and a low of 43. Friday, the shower chances will increase to 50% with a high of 65, while there will be a low of 44. We're going to clear out during Friday night, and it's going to be sunny skies Saturday with a high of 74 and a low of 49. Thank you guys for listening in. I hope you have a good day.
Hi everyone, I'm weather forecaster and assignment anchor at Spokane Talks Online, Colin Pittman, and I am honored to be the host of the new program, Spokane's Youth Spotlight, brought to you by Spokane Talks Online and the Spokesman Review, where we are interviewing and getting to know outstanding youth in our community each month. If you'd like to nominate someone in our community that you think should be recognized, that is doing something great here in the region or has an amazing story, visit SpokaneTalksOnline.com or Spokesman.com and look under Youth Spotlight to nominate. And be sure to tune in each month as we find the best in the Inland Northwest.
Spokane Talks Live today. Hope you're having a good day. It's a beautiful day out there. Stephanie Regalado, you walked down from work, didn't you?
No.
No, you took the car?
I drove from home.
You drove from home?
Yes, Tuesdays I work from home.
Oh, well, good for you. That's
Thank
not,
you.
I do that on Mondays, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, all right. I just was impressed that you had walked down and enjoyed downtown. But, so you got in your polluting car and, no, I'm just being.
Yes.
You're a host of She Says, which has become enormously popular on Spokane Talks. We love it. Always gets great remarks from people, and they love kind of listening in to what you gals, or am I allowed to say you girls, talk about?
Yeah, I think gals is one of those trigger words for some people.
Yeah.
Not for me. I don't have triggers.
Yeah.
But I've just heard. Yeah.
Yeah, good things.
Yeah.
But more importantly, perhaps, than even your job at the Spokane Coeur d'Alene Living magazine. Is being mom and grandma. I know that that's important to you.
Yes.
And your son, who graduates in a matter of a few weeks from North Central.
Yes.
Okay. He's kind of tall and big,
Yes.
kind of good for basketball, right? Yeah. You're mighty proud of him because he and his date did the prom on Saturday night. And then afterwards, Dad was going to pick him up and take him home so that if anything happened, he was safe and not driving and all the right things, right?
Yeah.
And he heard something. Talk about that, because his life and your life and this young lady's life literally changed that evening.
Yeah, well, he thought he heard the word help, and then he heard it a second time So he texted his dad. It was funny because we talk about all these weird things. I was supposed to pick him up right after the dance, and then that changed. He decided to stay in a hotel room for a little while with a group of his good friends.
Yeah, a lot of kids do that. Yeah.
Yeah, very safe. And they were reading like Laffy Taffy jokes. They're a real wild bunch. They're very serious athletes and scholars, so it was very cute. And then Joe was picking him up at 2. Joe went to he went to the Red Line Hotel instead of Hotel RL, so that was a delay. And then Christopher he was going to walk to the meeting place, but he didn't receive the first text until 7 minutes later. In the meantime, all this crazy stuff happened.
Oh, wow.
He thought he heard help, and then he kind of listened as he was going to walk toward where he and
Probably
Joe were meeting.
unbelievable that he's, what am I hearing?
Yes, because it was 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And so it was black and quiet of a night, and then he thought he heard it again. So he said he knew he had a split second to decide, but he didn't really decide. He just started running toward the bridge, the Washington Street Bridge.
Right.
And as he approached in the darkness, he could see an outline because the gal was on the west side of the of the bridge. So he crossed the street, and they have a construction barrier up. And he was trying to get her attention, asking, is she okay? Can she talk? And she wasn't acknowledging him at all, so he just leapt over the concrete barrier. And then he just wanted to get close enough so he
could communicate.
He felt in his heart he was going to have to watch her die.
Oh, no.
He said. And all he could think of is he wanted to get close enough to catch her feet as she went over, because she was standing up pretty high on top of the barrier. And then he got a little closer, kept inching closer, and just kept asking her, can I help you? Is everything okay? Can we talk? That kind of thing. And she finally glanced back at him, and he said it was the most terrifying look in anyone's eyes he's ever seen. It felt like he said it felt like there was no one there.
Oh, no.
He said he felt like he was staring at someone he knew was alive, but they'd
like
not
they'd
looked alive
gone.
in her eyes. And then he just kind of kept asking her questions, and so she started sharing her story, just stories of abuse. And he was so sweet about it, too. He said, Mom, I knew she was telling the truth. Because even though everything was jumbled in at first, he said he felt as though she had a lot of things in her mind.
Yeah.
And they were just
and maybe she was saying that so that someone would know before she goes.
Yes.
I mean.
Yeah, she was sharing about family abuse and lots of atrocities. And he said that he just couldn't imagine experiencing anything like that, and that she was an incredibly strong person for facing that, and he could understand why she wouldn't want to face that pain anymore, and he didn't judge her for being in that moment.
Right.
So,
and then what happens?
She just kept engaging a little bit more, and he, at one time, she turned toward him when she was standing up on the third of the bars. There was only one more on the top, and that's not. Every time I drive by now, I feel like I'm going to throw up because it's not that high in the first place.
No. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And for her to be standing up there on her feet, and he said she was just kind of leaning over, and her feet must have been just gripping it. It was hitting her probably like just below her knees or at her shins.
Yes.
He said she turned toward him, and he felt like he needed to prepare himself to protect himself because she had a purse on her body, and she started going through it. He didn't know if she was trying to reach for a gun or a knife.
Yeah.
And he knew he needed to protect himself, not hurt her, and make sure she didn't go over no matter what. So his mind just continually raced, he said, the whole time of trying to stay ahead of it and prepare and listen to every word she said, so he knew how he could respond to her with like truly caring about her hurt.
As you say that, I can only begin to imagine what's going through his mind. A 17-year-old to be faced with that. I mean, we know of adult deputies and policemen and others who have been in those situations, but they're trained for it.
Right. And a couple have reached out.
That doesn't make it easier, but they're trained.
No, well, and a couple of them have reached out to me and said they've been in situations like that, and it takes so much out of a person. They couldn't imagine what it was like for him to go through that. And our youth are so resilient, and they really are. When there's a purity involved in it, it really doesn't take it out of them the way it takes out of us when we have that. And
but it's still affecting him, isn't it?
Oh yeah, of course.
Because he won't do interviews or anything like that.
No, he's actually a little disturbed about how much attention it's received, because he feels like human decency shouldn't make the news.
Yeah.
And we've been both he and his dad and I have been explaining to him how inspiring the story is, and that there's so much negativity in news.
Well,
that we need a reminder that everyday people can step up and truly make a difference.
Well, and you've had a loss of a brother
yes.
to suicide, right?
Yeah.
And we both know Phil Tyler, who
Yeah.
lost his son, and we did a
Yeah.
half-hour program on that, and we really tried to focus on this. And yeah, it's not about the glorifying or necessarily trying to make your son a hero and all of that, although he clearly is, okay? But it's about maybe what we as individuals might come along and face, and we never know it.
Yeah.
And there's a lesson to be learned there.
Well, I'll tell
And
you,
he took the time to listen.
Well, and I'll tell you one thing about the silence surrounding suicide.
Yeah.
Get all emotional about it, but the hardest thing being a family member
Yeah.
of someone who commits suicide because of the shame that's involved and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
society's thoughts on it is the silence afterwards.
Yes. Yes.
It's just, and the schools are very sensitive about not talking about it because
Right.
they don't want to. And Christopher at North Central, they've had 4 suicides in the last about year and a half, 4
Yes.
boys. And Christopher knew all 4 of them, but and so I really feel like even the news, when KHQ reached out to me yesterday, they said we won't cover this, but Nicole, Mishke, who reached out to me,
Right.
said I really feel like there's a huge lesson in this. Maybe I can convince the producers to talk about
Yes.
this side of it, and I was proud of them for breaking through
Yeah.
some of those barriers to
Yeah.
talk about it.
But because honestly, I get not talking about it, and especially at schools and
Right.
so forth, where you got young, vulnerable ears, if you will, and so forth. But we've got to talk about it.
Well, and if the
You
adults,
know?
it's not that the kids aren't talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The adults can say we're not going to talk about it, but the kids are talking about it.
Yeah.
And there's no adult oversight because they're not really stepping into the pool of it with them. Christopher was really upset in September when they received the letter about his classmate Isaac, who had committed suicide in September. And Christopher said he caused a scene in the classroom because he crumpled up the paper.
Yeah.
And he threw it down on the ground, and everyone kind of gasped, like that was so disrespectful. And he goes, "It's another form letter. This is all
Yeah.
they give us.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same letter that we received for," and he listed off his 3 other friends. "It's just a different name."
Yeah.
And he goes, "What are we going to do?" And he doesn't have the answers.
No.
He doesn't know, but
No, but to be treated, a friend, somebody he knew, to be
Yeah.
treated in a form letter.
yeah.
That, yeah, and I don't think they meant that.
Well, no, and
to
they're
do
trying
that.
to be super sensitive, and they have rules and regulations
Yeah.
that they have to follow, but they really
Yeah.
need to listen to voices like that when they say that.
We're running out of time, unfortunately.
Yes, yeah.
Any last thoughts, other than
Um,
thank your son for standing up and showing us how? Okay, now
Yeah.
I'm going to get emotional.
Yeah.
Because it's so good to see our kids and our
Yeah.
grandkids step up and do it right.
Yeah.
Sometimes better than we do.
Well, the one thing that he said that is, I think, and leaves an impression on me is he didn't have a chance to think about it, and I
Yeah.
think sometimes we just think too much.
Yeah, yeah.
And it prevents us from reaching out in a split second, or it prevents us to reaching out to someone that might be hurting, or we all have that inner voice that pops up in us that tells us to act, and we talk ourselves down off of it. And I just
Yeah.
don't think we can do that anymore. I think we
We
need
gotta
to
get past that.
Yeah,
We
and
really
just,
do.
And just, I mean, someone may say, "No, I'm fine," but that's more worth. It's better to hear that and let someone know. I mean, so many messages have come into us on all sides.
Yeah.
About people who've considered it everyday suicide, and to hear that someone cared about a stranger the way my son did gave them hope.
And they've got people they know who
Yeah.
may be facing this, that maybe they could step out and not have to face what your son did.
Right.
On a bridge overlooking a roaring river.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
so many people are suffering in silence, and we just
Yeah.
need to make sure that we're reaching out to one another.
Exactly.
And really, letting all that. Every life is worth saving.
Absolutely.
So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Stephanie, for
Thanks for
sharing
having me.
your son's story and your story, because it's family story now.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is.
Definitely.
Thanks.
Yeah.
We're going to talk with Clyde Hasse right after this.
They say it takes a community to raise a family. It also takes one to build a business. I came to Spokane 12 years ago as a Whitworth student, and I planned to leave after graduation. But the more I got to know this community, the more I wanted to become a part of it. My husband and I have built our business in Spokane, and now we're raising our family here too. We operate a consulting company that provides creative business development strategies. Our approach is holistic and dependent on intentional connections and relationships. And no one understands connections and relationships better than GSI. They direct momentum towards investments in our community, provide resources that help business leaders connect, and they're dedicated and passionate about making Spokane great. GSI gives me the confidence to build my business here because they believe every organization, even a small one like mine, adds big value to our community. With GSI's help, Spokane will be a place my son will want to build his career too. I'm Eva Marquette, owner of Freshview. We're creating something greater with Greater Spokane Incorporated.
Hi, this is Kurt Stockwell with Well Dressed Walrus. We are a local website design and development company here in Spokane. What we do is build beautiful, usable websites for local businesses. A website needs to be beautiful, it needs to be usable for your users, your customers, and yourself. Contact us anytime. We'd love to talk with you about your online marketing.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org. Well, my guest right now is another one of our hosts. We're rolling in the host today.
We're rolling them in.
Clyde Hasse, I'm glad that you could get up. I know this is the beginning of the day for you at your age and so forth.
Don't believe that
Yeah,
one.
no, I know. Yeah, you wait until 6:30 or 7 to call me because you've been up for a couple of hours.
Right.
I know how life goes. I see some people are smoking this stuff, but you brought in the grass today.
We're down and dirty today.
All right. I love it. I love it.
Well, you know, you had given me a small note, and he said, what are we going to talk about this summer? And I thought to myself, well, you know.
That's the key. Summer.
Yes,
Are
summer.
we going to get summer?
Well, you know, I'll tell you in the winter if we got summer. I was really excited when I went out today, and I said, well, you know, do you mind if I bring some props in?
Yeah.
And here they are. This is what you call green grass.
Yes, yes.
And we all wish, hope, pray, and pay.
Yes.
All the above.
Yeah.
And this is a real sample of what sod that you can actually buy comes this direction.
Isn't it amazing when you think about that they can grow it and they can scoop it up and roll it up or put it on
a
flaps,
pallet? Oh, yeah.
Pallets? Yeah.
You know, and then you can bring it to your own yard and water it well down, and it just takes off and grows and stays nice and green.
A question while I think of it.
Yeah.
When you lay that down, how long is it before you can really begin to like mow it and those kinds of things? Because it takes a while to kind of go together.
Yeah. What I've always said is, of course, before you lay the sod, prepare the bed for it, because that's what it's going to be growing in, and then take and water it down real well, the dirt.
Before you put the grass.
Then you roll this out.
Okay.
Because what you're going to end up with, Kent, is...
There are a couple of layers in there,
Well,
aren't
yeah.
there?
You know, this is the thatch. This first bit is the thatch. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. And then you've got the roots, a very short bit of a layer in here that is really tight.
Yeah.
And the point that I'm trying to illustrate is that you have to have enough moisture that it's going to saturate the base of this before it can get to the roots.
Okay.
Very important. Now, your existing
and
lawn...
that's best to do by watering it ahead of time than waiting until after and hoping it kind of goes down.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And the grass will do well, but not as well as it would otherwise, because then you're going to cause a stress for it. I mean, this poor piece of sod...
You're paying to put in the sod, you want it to grow beautifully.
Well, it's actually all your time and all your money.
Yeah.
So let's do it right. Water it well, fertilize it, and of course I'd even come in and say, because now we lay it this weekend, Kent, then we should turn around and water it well a couple days and then even apply. This is something that I think you probably even have, is what they call Miracle Grow.
Okay.
It's a great product. You can actually put it in a watering container.
Okay.
And
then
spray
it out.
And it's a liquid fertilizer.
On top of the grass?
On top of the grass. Because that's, again, going to be a kind of a little extra boost.
Right.
when you normally put down your grass, you will even put down fertilizer before you put the sod on it.
Okay, okay.
That way, you're putting the fertilizer down into the areas where you need it. And
I was
this is
going to
just
say
a
where the
kicker.
roots are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Don't overdo it. Be
Okay.
realistic, because you're going to be watering this sod
Yeah.
continuously, off and on, for the next few days, really hard and heavy, saturated. Now, answering your question, how soon can I go out and mow it?
Yeah.
Probably a week to 10 days. You'll probably do a light mowing of it
Okay.
as it grows, because it's going to grow really heavy.
Okay.
I would kind of keep the dogs off of it for maybe, again, 3 to 4 days.
Yeah, or longer.
Or
like
longer.
years.
Depends on how many quick turns they're going to make.
Right.
So, again, you have to adjust this to fit what your needs are going to be.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to
Okay.
say. And you'll find that if you have an existing lawn, this is what I want to show you today. The thatch,
Right.
like you have in your lawn,
Right.
or now is probably some bare spots.
Yes, yes.
But the thatch needs to be done in aeration, like on a golf course.
So what's the best approach to filling out some of the holes in the grass where it's bare or semi-bare?
Okay, go in, fluff up the dirt,
Okay,
get a shade-loving grass seed.
okay,
Folks, I want to tell you something. This grass is grown in a full, open, this is basin sod,
okay.
Tri-Cities. This is grown in the full sun.
Right, right.
So that's the type
And
of
that's
grass.
not
that-
usually realistic for most of us, is it?
No. I know where you live.
Right.
It ends up, you have a lot of shade because
Yes.
you grow.
Well, it's kind of a shady home.
Well,
Yeah.
no, it's not a shady home. It's on the South Hill, and he grows trees in his rain gutter, so he has so many trees around it.
I knew you were going to bring that up, yes.
But the point being, you need to get some shade-loving grass seed.
Yes.
That's what you need to do, Kent.
Okay.
So you can't just
And then
grow
do it-
this overnight.
And so I put the grass seeds down. Do I put any kind of fertilizer or anything?
Fertilizer the same way of prepping the complete package.
Okay.
Just don't be guaranteed that you can grow this grass back in the shade-loving areas. It'll turn the same way.
Okay,
So
okay.
there are no secrets to it. You need the right product for the right area.
Okay,
situation.
so if I have a yard that doesn't have any grass, can I buy sod that is for shade?
No.
Really?
They just don't grow it.
I never knew that.
No, they don't
because
grow it.
it's growing out in the field. Therefore, that's interesting.
See, you answered your own question.
I had never really thought about that, but yeah.
Well, people
I
who
learned
think of-
something from you.
Well,
you know, I always learn
I
something
tell 'em
from
all the time.
older people. So,
Well, some days he learns and some days not as well.
well, yeah, sometimes
Yep.
it doesn't
But
register, but yeah.
I want you to thatch your lawn, and if
Okay.
you ever have any question, and if you're a golfer, take note of what the golfing people are doing. They're aerating it a lot.
Yes, yes.
They're not watering during the middle of the day. They're watering, and this is for summertime.
Yes.
They're watering early in the morning or late through the night and let it dry out during the day.
And that's still good for now, though, too, isn't it?
Yeah, it is good for now because we're close to summer.
Yeah, yeah.
Within reason.
Well,
the warmer
theoretically.
temperatures.
By the calendar says
Well,
so.
the calendar. But watch how you water things. Water
Okay.
it. Stop watering at 10 o'clock in the morning because evaporation
Okay.
from there on
You're
until
going to lose so much.
you're wasting money in a natural resource, and
Yeah.
I'm not into that. I did bring along your favorite item, are
Yes.
the wasps. They're
Yes.
out.
Yes.
You've
Yes.
got to get these hung up.
That and black flies and everything these days. I mean,
All-
it's all
Yeah.
all out, isn't it?
Isn't that summertime?
Yeah. The temperature sometimes might not tell us that.
Well,
But today is nice.
it is a nice day,
Yeah.
but we need to monitor and we need to set up our watering, our sprinkler systems. Go in, and I just redid my complete clock and I set it up for this time of the year.
Okay.
I'll bump it up again for more watering
Okay.
because what's going to happen, the more watering I do, you have more wasps because
Yeah.
of more water. I mean, it's a
But it's the reality.
It's a catch
So
21.
are those clippers for my nails or what?
Well, yeah, but again, what I wanted to point out is that it's this time of the year, folks. You need to go out and prune some of the plants.
Okay, it's
like
okay
a
to
juniper,
prune.
but don't prune the flowering shrubs
Okay.
because you're going to cut the blossoms off, Kent.
Okay. Okay.
It's like the lilacs are in blossom right now, and they're great.
Yeah.
You can prune them only after they've died down a little bit.
Okay.
Then you can prune them because they're setting next year's blossom.
Okay.
So understand your plant material. That's what I'm trying to say.
For the lilacs, probably the first part of June sometime, or soon after.
In general, again, everybody is different. Every year is different with
Yes.
that, Kent.
Yeah.
Full blossom now, so in 2 weeks you can go around and cut off the blossoms. Rhododendrons the same way, the state flower. You can prune them only after they've
That's
blossomed.
interesting. Yeah.
And if you wait too far, then they're setting the bud for next year. You're cutting off next year's blossom. You have to just pay attention.
Yeah.
That's all you have to do.
Well, and they can watch and listen to House to Home on Spokane Talks and find out
You
because
know
you've
what?
covered this several times.
We've talked about it many a times.
Yeah.
Fertilization.
Yeah.
Do we have a second? Fertilize on the holidays, Easter, 4th of July, Memorial Day, Labor Day. Fertilize.
So Memorial Day's coming up. Time to get ready.
It's all time, and do the watering.
All right. Thank you, Clyde. Good to see you
Thank you.
again.
I appreciate it
All
very
right,
so
take
much.
care. We're
Thank
gonna
you.
come back and talk about young leaders with the YMCA and others right after this.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
To find the right home for you, you'll work with your realtor to compare the properties you're interested in, analyze the market, and figure out a reasonable offer price. And now, here you are, ready to make an offer. Yay, you! Here's how it works. First, you'll complete an offer sheet which your realtor will then present to the owner. Sometimes, a nice note to the owner can help your offer stand out. Butter them up. Tell them how much you love their garden, that it reminds you of gardening with your grandmother as a child. Do not mention you're gonna bulldoze it and put in a pool. The owner may accept the offer, reject it, or counter. It's important to be in close contact with your realtor during the negotiation process so any changes can be reviewed. Your realtor is like your consigliere, and that makes you the Don. Once your offer is finally accepted, there are usually some contingencies that must be met in order to keep the contract alive. Inspections are totally common in real estate transactions. They include termite checks, surveys to determine boundaries, appraisals to determine value for lenders, title reviews, and structural inspections. This stuff is mind-numbingly fascinating. But you know what's even more fascinating? Actually getting your new house.
To help you be safe, Washington state law requires you to call 811 2 full business days before you plan, for example, to dig, drill, plow, pull from, or pound anything into the ground. Be prepared to provide the operator with the correct address, cross street, and a description of your work. You must mark the dig area with white paint. The operator will inform you of the utilities notified of your impending excavation. Wait for all their marks. Be safe and dig with care.
Well, welcome back, and we have Christine Brischle.
Correct.
Hold over. I got it twice correct in one day.
That's
probably
impressive.
Blow it from now on. You've got something coming up. I just was mentioning during the commercial break that I'm an old YMCA director from 42 years ago. Wonderful. So I've always got a heart for, a good spot in my heart for the YMCA and all the things that go on. But you guys have a leadership conference coming up. Tell me about that. Why is that different? What is it going to do?
Okay, well, it's the Youth and Community Leader Forum.
Okay.
This is about our seventh one that we've had in this format.
Oh, okay.
Where we invite high school students from around Spokane community and adult community leaders.
Okay.
And when people ask, what is a community leader, I've kind of had to redefine it a little bit because you hope that people recognize themselves as a community leader, but quite often those community leaders don't.
They're just going about their everyday business,
right?
Aren't they? Yes.
And if they don't have it in their title, or then they don't think. So the way I define it is people who have a vested interest in the health and well-being of our community.
Yeah.
So that is quite a spectrum.
And that's really any parent, grandparent, business owner, a member of a business, or an employee of a business, because we're all in this together, aren't we?
Right.
Yeah. So what is accomplished? This is a one-day event?
It is. It's actually 2 hours.
Okay.
It's 4 to 6 next Tuesday, May 15th.
Wow, it's coming up fast.
It is.
Now, how many young people and community leaders will you have?
We typically have between 120 and 150 people.
Okay.
And we strive for having 50%
Yeah.
high school students and 50% adults.
Wow.
So we bring them together, and hopefully they have a shared experience that they enjoy.
So what do you accomplish in these 2 hours? What do the 2 hours look like? What do you get done?
Well, we have a wonderful keynote speaker coming in from Idaho.
Okay.
Cherie Buckner-Webb is a legislator in Idaho who's going to come over and share with us her journey.
Okay.
She's actually the first female African American legislator in Idaho.
Oh wow.
So she's overcome.
She got a story to tell.
She does.
Yes.
She does. So I'm very honored that she'll come over. So she'll be speaking, and then we also have a freshman at LC,
Okay.
Sila Dowd,
Okay.
who has been very involved in her young community and
Okay.
is an up-and-coming leader. So she's going to share.
A freshman.
Freshman.
Wow.
Freshman.
It's so fun to see these young people take on leadership,
Absolutely.
isn't it? Because that's our future. It
Absolutely.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah. So she's got a voice. She's very very poised and uses her voice to make positive change. Yeah. And I'm excited for her to share that with this group of
That's
people.
That's great. And we were going to hope that she could come here, but it's something about going to school today, right?
Yes,
let's keep our priorities straight. So
yes.
we'll forgive her for that. But maybe this summer, after school's out, she can come talk about next Tuesday's program and so forth.
Oh, I'm
and,
sure
and
she'd
I'm sure
love
you'll
to.
have pictures and things like that too.
Yes.
This is great. So how do you find the young people? How do you find the community leaders?
We invite all of our city council members
Okay.
and local legislators. We
Okay.
also send out invitations to the nonprofit network and all of the leadership teachers and administration for the school districts.
Right.
So we also work with
spreading the word.
Correct. So and also Youth Leadership Spokane. Spokane helps us get the word out.
Okay, good.
So the net is cast widely, and we hope that we get those people who are interested and committed.
Okay, so I assume mainly for high school kids?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm a young high school kid. I know that's totally impossible to picture.
I can imagine.
Yeah, right. What am I going to learn? What's my one or two big takeaways from what I'm going to get next Tuesday?
You're going to learn why it's so important for you to have a voice and use your voice.
Okay.
And the fact that just because you're young doesn't mean that you have to sit back and wait for adults to take action.
Yeah.
And the adults in the room are going to experience young leaders and experience these leaders in a way that they know that in the future and currently they want to be involved.
Yeah.
And so hopefully there's some networking involved and there's some connections.
Yeah.
And we're hoping that they leave there thinking about the legacy that they want to leave.
Will the adults get a chance to share some of their ups and downs of being leaders? Because we know we've all had them, don't we?
Yes, we've had those few. And so they'll have some discussion times at their tables. They'll be set in tables of 8 people, and we try to mix it up, adults and youth. And we'll also be discussing the new hashtag Spokane campaign.
Okay,
and
good.
allowing people to discuss what does a kind community look like. So if Spokane is kind.
A kind community. I don't know if you caught our first segment on Stephanie's son, who's saved this gal from committing suicide on,
it's amazing.
on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of community we want to be, where we, as young people and older people, ancient people, step up and are kind.
Yes. And not just nice, but kind. There's a difference.
Exactly. You're so right. Well, if people are there spots still available?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So how can people get more information and or sign up?
Go to YMCA
Okay.
and find the event.
Okay.
It's right there on our homepage.
All right.
And then anyone can contact me. Call
Is
the
there a
YMCA.
cost involved?
It's $20 for adults.
Okay.
Free for students.
Okay.
But if we have a teacher or a youth leader who brings a group of students, then we waive the fee for that adult.
So bring the kids.
Yes, bring the kids. Yes, for sure.
There's a method to the madness.
Yeah, yes.
Well, you're obviously a great leader. The
you.
Y does great things. important role in the community. This, I think, is another good example of providing leadership to our young people. And honestly, the adults that are there will probably walk away with more than the kids do in some ways. You know,
possible.
I mean, that's just how it works, and we all know that. By our giving, we get more than what we've given to somebody else. It just happens to be that way.
Absolutely.
And it makes our lives so much better. Thank you for all you're doing, okay?
Thanks
for coming all the way from the North Branch down here. We were laughing before we went on that dodging the potholes, you probably had to leave yesterday afternoon to get here. But thank you. This is great. Keep up the good work, will you?
Thank you very much.
Well, we're going to take a break until tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Have a good day.
Spokane Talks Live is produced in Spokane, Washington by Spokane Talks Online LLC, which is solely responsible for its content. To recommend a guest or topic, or to see this program again, please visit our website, SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Spokane Talks Live is brought to you by our friends at Homes for You and Breakthrough Incorporated. Join us next Wednesday, noon, for another nourishing conversation on Spokane Talks Live.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.
Tom Sawyer Country Coffee only roasts the finest organic coffee for our signature blends. Enjoy a cup at our coffee shop and local businesses and organizations across the region.
I'm Tom Sawyer, and we choose the Pacific Northwest.
Last year alone, Avista customers saved over 53 million kilowatt hours of energy. Enough to power more than 4,000 homes for an entire year. Way to save, everyone. Way to save. Find your way to save at avistautilities.com.
What? You haven't been to the library lately? Stop in today and see that the library is more than books. Spokane County Library District facilities feature on-site technology, including Wi-Fi, computers, and printers, as well as free use of meeting rooms. The Library District offers events and programs for all ages, from story times to career development and employer classes to Social Security workshops. Our staff is well trained and happy to help. Find out more about your library at scld.org.
Welcome to Tom Sawyer Country Coffee.